Tea with tea, bro. Cheers.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers, cheers.
With chai. There's chai inside.
With chai in that? Okay, good.
Yeah.
What's up? How have you been?
Good. In fact, I'm having chai in this beautifully designed, you can see this cup. This is actually a dream of a child from our
Oh, lovely.
which we'll talk about. Yeah.
Lovely.
So, cheers. Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah.
Or kya?
So,
Tell me.
nothing, yeah. So, just waiting for a few people to join, but okay, I guess they'll keep coming. So, that's there.
Yeah.
So, what I wanted to basically, first of all, is I wanted to introduce you. Yeah.
Yep.
And everyone, my guest today is Avinash Jhangiani. He's a social entrepreneur who's founded a company called Play to Transform, which is a strategic transformation consulting firm, as he calls it. And he's been all over the world he's been in the US, obviously, and there in the US, and he's been in India. And in the US, he worked with companies like Deloitte, like GE, like Reliance. Yeah. And we were colleagues, believe it or not. Avinash and I were in an advertising agency. And I was looking after content, which everyone used to call the content business. Yeah. And Avinash was looking after digital and innovations. I guess we're still trying to be content though.
खुशी में डिजिटल हो ही जाएंगे.
खुशी में हो गया. Exactly. So basically, Play to Transform is all about play and design thinking, right?
Yes, that's right.
Right, to help corporates think out of the box, to find new ways of working.
Yep.
Couldn't be more relevant than in these times, especially in the times of COVID.
Yep.
Yeah. And Avinash is super passionate about children and about children unleashing their full potential.
Yep, that's right.
Which is why you launched something called Dream on India, which is India's first curated book of dreams. And you've gone global with that. It's something called Dream on X, which I think you launched, 2 days ago. So congratulations on that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I mean, I basically would love you to first tell us a little bit, because honestly, people say Avinash works for a company called Play to Transform. ये Play to Transform क्या है भाई? खेलते रहता है, क्या करते रहता है लाइफ में? ये क्या है? ये डिजाइन थिंकिंग, कल्चर बिल्डिंग है क्या? So what is it?
खेल में हम करेंगे परिवर्तन. Let's put it that way. Play to Transform, right?
Yeah.
So we are Play to Transform, and we started this thing about 2.5 years ago. So I'd spent about 20 years in the corporate world. I'm still doing stuff with clients in corporate, but in terms of industry experience and consulting experience, spent about 20 plus years there doing a lot of work across digital technology and all of that. And one of the things that I realized, it happens to a lot of us at some stage of our life, is that you start wondering, after this what, right? You've got the awards, you've got all the big roles and all of that, and you're just looking for meaning, right? And one of the things happened was 4 years back. In some ways, I lost my mother, and at that point, and I used to rely on her to a very large extent in terms of just venting out and sharing my dreams with her. And she was extremely encouraging all the time. And after I lost her, I really went into this whole introspection within myself to really ask myself, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे, right? And I can keep doing this, right? You can keep aiming higher and higher in the ways of life as it, you've engineered it, right? So I'm an engineer, MBA, typical industrial age guy, right? Who's been engineered to do, live a life which is very, you could say automatic, right? You are not really thinking, you're just in that flow and you're just doing it because everything falls into place. But 2 years back, I started realizing that I had this real excitement towards children. And it started happening obviously with my kid when he was probably about 8 years old at that point. And while I was working with him in terms of playing with him, I started realizing that once you're a child and you play with a child, you actually, yes, you are able to untap your inner child, but then also you are able to become disruptive in ways that even you can't imagine, right? And you start, attaining this flow which you wouldn't do otherwise with an adult. And I started thinking that why as adults we are not able to keep our inner child alive, right?
Correct.
And so I started this thing called Play to Transform. I did a few courses in INSEAD on design thinking and some Lego courses. I got exposed to this play way of thinking, which is very relevant in these uncertainty and all of this which is going on. And I started understanding that if there is a way to trigger situationally our play states or our childlike ways of thinking in instances we need it. So for example, if say, I'm stuck in a creator's block, right? Or say I'm trying to generate ideas all the time, right? And clients in the agency world, expect us to do that. How do we overcome those blocks and obstacles, while we are operating in our, zones of, restraints,
comfort zone,
right? Sure. Yeah. So then I started doing these workshops, and now we've designed a lot of these Play to Transform workshops, which are extremely disruptive. We use Lego, we use a lot of design thinking in it. So the whole idea is that how do we bring out your entrepreneur skills, and which is required today. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, the skills that an entrepreneur uses are extremely relevant and critical to staying relevant in the 21st century. Right.
Sure.
So things like, creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, logical reasoning, a lot of these things, I think, have to be brought back into the workplace as well as with children in general. And, if you ask me, that the reason why we did this is because we wanted to disrupt this whole learning and development, which could be across age groups. So which is why Play to Transform, the way it's structured is that we are a small group of senior folks from diverse backgrounds. We are people from brand, from digital, from HR, from psychology. And we work together because at the end of the day, the world, as much as we say, do this role and, do this, you're in this department, ultimately your success will depend on your ability to co-create with each other.
Sure, absolutely.
You should be able to integrate and work well with each other. So we started doing this work, and we have clients in the corporate side. If you're asking me, we have clients like the SR Group, LinkedIn, Cipla, and a number of cross-industry clients. And we share a lot of the learnings across industries. Since I also have a lot of consulting, work in the industries that we worked with across banking, retail, etc. So then we are able to bring a very fresh way of thinking to the table, a very childlike way, very extremely disruptive, so that you can stay relevant in this new digital age, and especially now with this whole thing going on, where we are living in the moment, we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. It's all about how you are trained your mind, right?
Absolutely.
It's all about how the health of your mind is, right?
Sure.
So really that at a very high level. Yeah.
Interesting. One second, let me just say hello to a few people. Danish bhai, how are you? Amrita, how's it going? Ashu, what's up? Rajesh sir, my father's also joined. Hi, Dad.
Oh, hello, uncle. How are you?
I want to talk about Dream on India a little bit. Just tell us briefly what is Dream on India, and this is something that you hadn't you didn't have any experience in that, right? So how did you get into something like this? What prompted you to do it? Yes.
So see, all my life I've used my mind to be where I am. Now I'm using my heart, right? And when you use your heart, you don't care about experience, education, qualification. You care about how excited you are about anything that you want to make a difference in, right? And I started realizing I work very well with children. And since my mom was a child psychologist, in some ways I was trained very unknowingly in ways that I discovered after I lost her, right? So we started this thing called Dream on India with a very small experiment. I was working with, I'm actually an MOC and advisor with the Niti Aayog's Atal Innovation Mission, and I work with underprivileged children. And one day when I started working with them in terms of developing their creativity skills, and using design thinking as a process to really bring out that creativity and that problem solving skill, I started realizing that, in the empathy stage, which is the first stage of the design thinking, they were very well versed, right? Because they are absolutely in the grassroots problems and the issues. Okay? But when I moved to the problem solving, the creativity and the ideation stage, they used to just look at me blank. Ki, sir, give me direction. So I used to wonder, you guys are so young, and at my age, and I'm sure even you're able to relate to this. We were full of creative juices, right? We were in some ways allowed to dream, and it really depends on your mother and your dad and whoever is your environment. I started realizing actually plays a very important role in your ability to solve problems. Okay, and actually begins when you're a kid. Yeah. It's too late when you're an adult. And I started seeing this in the eyes of the children. So we said, listen, we have to give them a platform where a small platform where they are allowed to express themselves in any way they want.
Absolutely.
Then I started thinking, when I was a kid and I was allowed to do anything I want, it was called daydreaming. So I'm just thinking anything I want, and I'm allowed to just look into space or just shut my eyes and just think of anything and just do some mind wandering. I said, how about we use the concept of creative daydreaming, which is now being written quite a bit by a lot of interesting research scientists called Dr. Jerome Singer, who we actually lost about 3 months back. He's known as the father of daydreaming. And also, years ago, you have Sigmund Freud and these guys who actually have written about daydreaming and visualization in a very big way, and how it can help really de-stress you, and it can help your visualization skills in terms of achieving your future, right? So we said we'll use this concept of daydreaming, which adults will never take seriously, and we'll apply it and give them some direction. So we said, listen, how about we ask children about what do they expect from India? Because see, ultimately we say as educators or agencies or say whoever we are, whether you're an edtech company or whoever you're trying, your objective at the end of the day as an adult is to leave a future behind which has to be awesome, right? Which your children and your new generation will remember, right, and actually use. But I started realizing that how come we never ask children about what they want? Okay. Yeah. So we did this 2-hour daydreaming exercise with a couple of NGOs and schools, and the artworks and the drawings we saw about the dreams of India just gave us goosebumps. Wow. Yeah, and after we saw that, we said, listen, we have to do everything we can within our reach and investment to scale this up. So we started inviting NGOs like CRY, like Teach for India, a lot of NGOs, whoever I could, reach out to, I did. And I mean, all that I had was belief, and that, I was, if you ask me, the reason why it really reached the stage it did is because of purely, I was inspired to see the drawings of the children. And is what I was trying to do with the teachers and the schools, that just believe that the children know and they are listening to everything, because they are. If, don't undermine what the children know, because as adults, we always attempt to always teach the children and say, ye kya janenge, theek hai? Yeah. But they are actually listening and they are watching everything around us, right? Absolutely. All that we've tried to do in this daydreaming, initiative, if you ask me, is actually just let them dream about the future of India. And, just gather all those dreams and throw it into a book, which is what we launched 3 months back, which is India's first book of dreams. But during that whole 1 year of creating the project, it just happened so organically, right? That we had to create experiences out of the Book of Dreams. So we created this India's first wall of dreams at the Mumbai International Airport, at the T2 airport. So it's like a long 50-feet gallery of dreams of children. And these children are dreaming about everything related to every issue you can think of. It can be the girl child, woman empowerment, hunger, robotics, automation, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I have a copy of the book here. It's called I Dream.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and it's next to me. So if anyone wants, in fact, I just want to tell everyone, I've been through this book and I helped launch it. We launched it together at Kidzania when the book launched. And it touches on everything from kids. You won't imagine that kids of standard 6 can have, their dreams range from everything from corruption to topics of corruption, of rape, of how they want secularism for the country, how child labor should be stopped. They're talking about climate change. They're talking about marine life. They're talking about the Mars mission. So it's absolutely something which is quite mind-numbing. And as you rightly say, we think, why children can't really think like this,
Yes. So I was just throwing the link in if anybody wanted it. It's a free copy of the book. Since we are in these uncertain times, I thought it can serve as a book of inspiration. So we are providing the soft copy free. So you can go to dreamonindia.com/download and download a copy of the book.
Excellent.
So the book is designed by children, but it is for adults, right? Because we wanted a book to be a reflection of what's happening in India today, but then in a very hopeful, in a very optimistic way, because these are futuristic aspirations, right? So is what we wanted to do, and I thought it's a nice opportunity to share it free, because ultimately I believe every child's dream is special and it needs that visibility. Yeah. So these are the most diverse 150 dreams we got out of the 15,000. So you're only going to see 1% of the best dreams, right? Which we got. All the rest of them actually on the website, which is dreamonindia.com/map. So we actually created a map of dreams, and you can click into a city or a slum or a village, wherever you are in India. And you can see a gallery of dreams from children from that specific location.
Amazing. That's quite something. 1 second. My mom's also joined. Hi, Mom. Jasab, how are you?
Hello.
Yeah. So, okay. So you said it in your book also, and you said earlier also that it is your mother. You used to dream a lot. Your mom used to encourage you to dream, right? She used to let you be. And why do you think? What is culturally holding us back is Indians in India, that we don't encourage our children to dream. We say, "Arey, bachcha hai yaar, isko kuch pata nahi hoga yaar," things like that. And I think you've actually gone and beyond even Dream on India, you've written a little Kindle book on your Kindle, which is called a Kindle version, which is called The Flossom Mind of a Daydreamer.
Yeah.
Right. So tell us what is that about?
So we've spoken about the Dream on India book, which is by children, right? Now, while I was working on this project in the past year or so, I started for some reason remembering my childhood, which was in the age of 8 to 11. And I don't know why this was happening. I don't know why. It could be because of my interaction with children, or I was trying to go back and think about how my mom used to encourage me to dream, right? So I started writing about small incidents which influenced me, and I remember these incidents so well, and it's quite strange I remember them, is what I'm told, that how do you remember this kind of detail? I said, I don't know, but all that I know is as I began writing, all the details started appearing, right? So I have small incidents like, how do we build grit and resilience through small incidents which have happened in your childhood. So as an example, I'll tell you a small story quickly. So I have this story called it's a story about a fish, bone, okay? And it's called the fishy effect. It's called the fishy effect. Okay. So the idea was, as a kid, I enjoyed fish, but I was scared that if I eat it, a bone will get stuck in my throat. Right. Yeah. So that story, if you read the story, it's about the journey from when a bone actually got stuck into my, in my throat, and how my dad was freaking out, and everybody was, at home was, going crazy because, you're a young kid and you want to make sure that it doesn't, create any internal, damage and all of that. If you ask a kid about that journey, they will give you a very different view of the journey from an adult. I really enjoyed that whole journey of when the fish bone was stuck, was because I was getting a lot of attention. Okay. And it was not hurting me, so I was not. But everybody was on me, and they were so, I was like, this is the best love I can ever get, right? And it was strange how much attention and love I got. And I think it's one of the reasons why I remember this incident, and how I'll allow you to read it. I don't want to give it away, but each one of these incidents have a very interesting ending, and actually teaches a child as well as an adult, because it's written in a very age agnostic way, so you can be anyone. But ideally, if you're feeling down, or if you want to feel more resilient or more creative, or you want to deal with stuff that you can't deal with anymore, so each story is actually bent towards that, and it's very light. The reason I say daydreamer is because I believe I was a daydreamer, and I was quite flawsome in my mind because of the way I operated. I didn't do anything right as a kid. I know that because I was told कि तू कुछ भी सही नहीं करता है. ठीक है? So I was told over and over again, but I don't think anybody realized that I never learned by reading. I learned by visuals, right? And it's why, so I was a visual learner, really. So all of that is in that book in some fashion.
So you always saw your life. They always say, the two types of people who relate to colors and people who relate to numbers. So you related to colors as a kid.
Yeah, visual.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I started realizing all of this only after I lost my mom, and I started thinking that, every child and every human being is so different, right? Why don't we, accept or allow this individual to accept who they are? Because every time, our education system, which we all know now, has done such a fabulous job of training the creativity out of us that I actually have to do workshops on being creative, which I find quite funny, because we are all born creative geniuses. So you can imagine all, in our workshops with children as well as with the corporates and the most senior people in these organizations, we have to rewire their brains to think creatively.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And is what I think is the most important skill today, your ability to visualize a future that you want, and not what your mother, your father, your teacher, your wife or somebody, or husband or whoever you might be, right? Who are you and your strengths and your skills, and how do you then look for a domain where you can fit this in?
Absolutely.
Right? And then hopefully also make money out of it.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? Our corporates really need to learn. Because whenever you go for pitches or you go for presentations, there's nothing less than 170 slides full of this pie chart and that pie chart. By 2 lines में simply नहीं बताते कि problem क्या है, उसमें ये number, वो number. I could never relate to that. I used to always blank out.
Yeah. No, I could see that, and I could relate to it because inside I was like that, right? And I could say, it's the way it is, and we just have to, if you're going to survive in this world, which requires you to behave in a particular way, I guess you have to do that. But I think with stuff which is happening right now, I think this is a great opportunity for, especially I would say millennials who have the age as well as the space and the creative energy to move into spaces that they really want to.
Absolutely.
Right? It's so important, because I don't think any any organization out there understands what to do really in this environment.
Yeah. So coming to that, we've come from a world, and I've come from a world where clients used to say, "Make me a viral video, okay, and let this go viral, let it go viral." Well, we are in the midst of the biggest virus on the planet, which has literally stopped the world. Yeah, nothing can be more viral than COVID-19. Yeah. So, how do you think? You are quite a spokesperson for this. How do you think that corporates should actually align and rework themselves, adapt to these changes? How should leaders of companies, CEOs, how should they be speaking to their staff? How should they be reassuring them? I remember there was a time when we were fighting to push the digital agenda in that agency we used to work in, and we struck to our clients that, listen, you got to go digital. Digital is the future. Well, there's no longer the future. Okay, we're in COVID and we're in a digital first world. Yeah,
digital is the present. There's no future.
Yeah. So you wrote something today about the change as usual world. So I think, why don't you just tell us about that and what do you think about adapting?
Yeah. So being from the advisory background, right?
Yeah.
We are always trained to bring up such words like business as usual, which I'm sure a lot of people have.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll give you an understanding of why BAU really happened. BAU happened because of the industrial age, right? We were forced to create standard operating ways of life in general, and work, right? So ultimately, even if you're innovating, and earlier, about 20 years back, innovation, it wasn't it was an option. You had to be in a BAU mode because you wanted a steady state of revenue or income, right?
Sure.
Now, in order to even survive in the 21st century, you cannot operate in BAU all the time. It's not going to work, right? And especially we are seeing this now where every day we are living in the moment, which means change has to be there, right? It's a given now. Now you can't say, if I will change. It's about how quickly you're going to change right now, right? So if I'm a leader of an organization, the number one thing I would say is start accepting who you are as a leader, right? Which means you need to be extremely empathetic towards others' goals, as well as understand what your business and your organization stands for and is really, really good at in terms of the core competency. All right. If you haven't realized what your core competency is as a business, you need to start doing that. Otherwise, you can close your shutter, right? Because here's an opportunity where to cleanse. Cleansing is what is happening in the last few weeks, and is what I guess in some ways, philosophically speaking, the universe is saying, I'm giving you these weeks to go back, question yourself, introspect, self-discover about what you are meant to do, be in the right place, and fix your route, in the direction you want to be in, and which is why you have this break, right? It's in some ways it's a God-given break. Now, people who are who aren't realizing this, and I know organizations who, as an example, OTT platforms, as you know, videos are now on. They are making their employees work like anything, right? Because, video is so hot now.
Yeah.
As an example, my question is, you aren't able to create any more new videos, right? You can't able to create any more. At one stage, your repository will be over, which is happening, quite soon. With no new movies and no new films, आप क्या करोगे? Right?
Yeah.
आप क्या करोगे? You will not be able to do anything because you can't produce. So you will need to, at one point, you will need to re-strategize and rethink about what is right for you as a business and the new definition of long-term growth, right? Now, if you ask me about the younger staff, right, and the millennials and the people, you have an opportunity today to really invest, adapt and grow, which you can do, right? You have the age, you have the space, you have the opportunity to do it. Every hour, if you're not spending 1 hour asking yourself, am I in the right job? Do my skills actually align with the job? Am I really happy doing the job I am doing, right? If I'm not asking these questions every day and I'm not investing, so the number one thing is invest. Invest in learning. If there's nobody who should walk out of this thing that we are going through without doing at least one learning, which could be in the space of say artificial intelligence. Even if you're not from the technology space, whoever you are as a layman, you know the biggest trend today which is going to impact your life is AI, right? You must do a course on AI as an example. You must invest, and you can go for the most basic course because it starts opening up your mind. No more you can say that I don't know how to operate in the online world. If you don't know how to operate in the online world today and you feel afraid that you might click something and boom something out, then boss, you're gone, right? Absolutely. You're not going, right? So you need to accept first. So the first thing always in this whole cycle of discovery is accept that you cannot go back to the world you were in, right? The moment you start doing that, then your mind starts opening to now what, right? So when your mind becomes open, then you need to start asking yourself and do this exercise that what am I good at doing? So now you can ask your friends, you can ask your relatives, whoever, your advisors, whoever you're close to, write them down, look at it every day and start thinking about where can I move either within my organization or my job, or ask to move into a role that actually helps you grow those skills.
Absolutely.
Do some. Now you have Udemy, you have all kinds of online courses which have dropped their prices like from 7,000 to like 499 rupees, right? So you have no excuse to say, I don't have the time, I don't have the money. You have everything. Okay. So, don't give excuses to yourself about not developing yourself because, who are you fooling now, right? It's not your boss. It's not your mother. It's not your dad, right? All that you are now seeing is yourself in the mirror. And a lot of people who have been speaking to the youngsters are now saying, it's a scary thing. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why am I doing this. I said, great. It's the first step of actually acceptance is the first step of realizing your dream.
Self-realization. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So which is what adapt is after you invest, you start adapting to the road, the road you want to take, which can be a little steer or it can be entirely different. Absolutely up to your ability to, how brave you are, as well as how much grit you have in these days, right? And the last thing is make sure you have a plan in place because you have to have a growth plan. Now it's not no L&D or no HR is going to have an appraisal on you, right? You are going to do your own self-appraisal without anybody judging you, right? So you can't fool yourself. If you're going to walk out of here saying that I didn't invest, I didn't adapt and I didn't grow, then who's to lose here, right?
Exactly. One second, a few more people have joined. Hi Nanda, hi Honey, hi N Satvani, hi Bikal, how are you? Yeah, okay. A few people. Okay, so I want to ask you a very interesting question, right? We are sitting here, we're doing a live over here. Okay, I've been doing a few of these. Everyone now in today's world while everyone at one time was on social media and has been on social media, right now everyone's investing in growing their social media image even more, because in such a world like we're in today, it's extremely integral to have your own personality, to build your own image online, and you've also recently, I think you started a podcast. You also started doing videos, which is something you never used to do before, So how important is the role of social media in today's world, in this ever-changing world? And by the way, before you answer that, I have to say you are responsible for getting me more involved on Instagram, because I used to make those jokes, those Paji ke PJ jokes. You were the one I remember who told me, saying, Takesh, make some more, keep putting them up, And this entire thing on influencer marketing, I remember we chatted about it a few years ago.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I remember. I mean, I didn't know it's. No, so here, here's what the deal is. I really believed in you, buddy. I mean, I knew that you had the ability to throw content out there like nobody's business, right? And we worked on ideas with clients like Unilever, etc., right? And I remember things we said, are we idea sluts, if you remember, right?
Yeah.
Right? So we had reached a stage where we were creating ideas like nobody's business, right?
Button dabao, idea nikalo. Button dabao, idea nikalo. वही हो रहा था.
Yeah, exactly. So, see, we have to realize that we are in an information age today. Okay.
Yeah.
With Gen Z and millennials, and you'll hear this in all the conferences over and over again, that they are born in the digital age, so they understand things very easily. And it's very, very true. But with us, who were born before the mouse was created, okay, as an example, at least me, right? So even before the mouse was created, so the thing is that as kids, we never had exposure to technology, right? So we actually had to rewire our brain to think as if we are in the digital space, which is why every time we speak to a client who's always a senior person and they belong in the industrial age, we always have to showcase a strategy which is offline and online, right? And I used to laugh in my brain 6 years back, and I remember our first meeting with a very big client, and they asked us to present, a digital strategy and and an offline and print and all of that. And in my brain, I used to think, why aren't we working together? Because if you look from a user's viewpoint, we don't differentiate between 2 or 3 mediums, right? At the end of the day, all that we want is experiences. Exactly. So experiences is what? Experiences has a medium and has a story. You have to nail your story, and that comes to the content, right? Now, the fact is, the ability to create great stories hasn't changed over a period of time, right? Because storytelling is a creative thinking concept, right? But the medium has changed. So we have to educate ourselves on the medium. Now, it was radio print yesterday. Now it's digital. And even digital is actually transforming, quite rapidly, right? With exponential technology. What we need to do as creators is actually develop our skill on the medium aspect. Now, you and I are on the digital space, but there are lots of people over there who say, who have the ability to create great stories, but they lack the ability to choose the right medium, right? And if the new medium, and I don't think it's new anymore since everybody is online now, is actually online, and social media is the way to go, social and viral and share, then you have to understand how to operate in this world.
Absolutely.
You don't have a choice, right? And you ask me about why am I on video. Now, as such, I'm a very shy guy. I would never throw myself out.
I know.
This Instagram live is the first live I've ever done. I've done videos in the past, but I also have started realizing at my age that I don't find a reason anymore to be shy or to keep my strengths and my skills to me only. If I have the experience, I want to be able to share it, right?
Absolutely.
If it's with me, then how is it going to help? It's not going to help. And who reads today, right? I mean, a lot of reading is done in your free time. Through the day, it's all visuals, right? And it's strange as visuals, right? How we are going back to the ages when visualization has always been important, right? So we are going into videos, we are going into imageries, and now VR, AR, and all these technologies are happening. Everything is going back to the right way of actually experiencing stuff around us, because the idea is to use all our senses, right? And if digital is the way to go, social media is the way to go, you will never be able to feel the experience I've gone through if you don't talk to me in this fashion. Right?
Absolutely.
You have to be live in front of me. and which is why I believe social media is absolutely required. Yes, we'll make mistakes. I mean, I'm also learning every day, improving my style of delivering and all of that. But the important thing I'm realizing is that if you really are interested in sharing stuff that you want, to be shared, then you want to make sure it's delivered to in the right way, so that whoever is reading or viewing it, it goes right into their brain and not anywhere else, right? Absolutely. So the important thing is that you have to keep improving yourself as well.
Comes back to what we were saying about being creative, about being visual, right? I mean, in some, all of us, listen, I always say one thing, that when I was growing up, I wasn't the best student, but I had a skill that I used to write my notes on the side of my textbook in my own handwriting. So the minute I used to write something in my own handwriting, it used to just stick, right? And I can say that had I been taught through movies or through music, right, if that entire course, that entire jargon would have been given or something, one would have taken it to a completely different level.
On that note, Baba Sehgal.
Baba Sehgal.
Come on, buddy. I was not going to let you go without a little, at least a half minute of your true creativity. Yeah.
Okay, so this is Thanda Thanda Pani. Okay.
Yeah. Let's go.
मैं 5 किलोमीटर बाहर गया, मैंने देखा पानी से भरा स्विमिंग पूल आया, मैनेजर बोला बैठिए प्लीज सर आपकी सेवा में मैं हाजिर हूँ, कुछ फरमाइए, बोलिए क्या आपको चाहिए। ठंडा ठंडा पानी, आइस आइस बेबी, ठंडा ठंडा पानी, आइस आइस बेबी। वेटर आया और कोल्ड ड्रिंक लाया, मेरा सर चकराया, बोला भैया क्या लाया, और घुराया, कॉल द प्रेसिडेंट। स्टाफ घबराया, जब प्रेसिडेंट आया देखा मन मचला, देखो सोनी सोनी आंखों वाली लाल साड़ी पहनी वाली खड़ी है, मैडम क्या समस्या है। मैडम ने बोला आपने बुलाया क्यों, प्रॉब्लम है सर, कुछ नहीं, ये तो चलता रहता है बस यूं ही। नहीं सर, मेरी तरफ से आपको माफी मांगते हैं, कंसेशन भी देते हैं कि आपको चाहिए ठंडा ठंडा पानी, आइस आइस बेबी।
नाइस थैंक यू सो मच सर। इसके बिना
ये तो बड़ा मजा है
वाला था मैं।
अच्छा, but one more, somebody is asking, please, what is your name of your podcast? Nanda is asking.
So you can look up my name, Avinash Jangiani. You can search it on Spotify. The name of the podcast is The Digital Transformation Series. The Digital Transformation Series by Avinash Jangiani. Yeah. If you want to go to my audio book, which is the book we were talking about, The Flawsome Mind of a Daydreamer, we have an audiobook also on Spotify that you can look it up by searching The Flawsome Mind of a Daydreamer, or just my full name, Avinash Jangiani, it'll pop it up.
Super. Okay, so The Flawsome Mind of a Daydreamer on both on Spotify and on Amazon, on the Kindle, and the Digital Transformation Series on Spotify, right?
Yeah. So the Digital Transformation Series is interesting because I'm going to be inviting a lot of experts from the digital space and also from the non-digital space, from the human psychology space, from the digital anthropology space, from the whole space of quantum mechanics and quantum computing, which is a very new topic to a lot of people. Organizations like Google are actually investing in this in a very big way. And I believe these are the technologies which are going to transform the world around us in ways that we've never imagined. Yeah, so we'll be doing that.
Amazing. So tell me one more thing. How's the lockdown treating you? What have you been up to in the day? What's going on?
There are a few things which are going on. One, I'm drinking lots of chai.
Very good. We talk about chai.
Right. But I think I'm getting an opportunity to truly be myself, if you're asking me on one-on-one, which means I'm doing whatever the heck I want to do and I feel like doing, right? And I typically don't get this opportunity to a very large extent. So I'm writing a lot. I'm creating a lot of videos. I'm showing a different side of myself, which I'm actually a little shy about, but I believe that, I want to do that because I feel good and I feel happy, as I do this, chat with you. I would typically not do this kind of a chat with anyone. But
this is called social distancing.
Physical distance. Social तो है अभी भी.
Carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so all these random stuff, and I'm always creating content in terms of, as I said, I'm writing. In the past week, my 11-year-old son and I have started creating a series of videos which we are going to push out on design thinking. So the idea will be, how do we simplify this for children as well as for adults? Because I've attended. So we do a lot of workshops on design thinking with the corporate world, and they are still struggling. So I'm going to try a slightly different route to really bring a child into the scene and help them understand that how do you really get disruptive in the workplace.
That sounds quite amazing.
Yeah, so all these random stuff is going on. You can go to, there's a link on the Play to Transform Instagram page. It's a Linktree link. You can click on that. You'll find all the work that we are doing in terms of the podcast. You can download the book. All those links are in there. It's a simple one-pager. It's a Linktree link. And I keep that updated all the time.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's on the Play to Transform page, right?
Yes. It's on the Play to Transform.
Chalo, at least it'll help people. Looking forward to those videos. I hope people move beyond deciding what font to use and thinking that the font is the only all-important thing of any presentation is the font. But a font.
The logo.
Logo. इन्हीं लोगों ने ले लिया दुपट्टा मेरा.
बड़ा करो
logo. That's it. So you're drinking a lot of chai. So did you make the chai on your own? What's your chai recipe?
I usually make my own shit, but my wife made this today because I was busy with you. So I requested her to make.
अदरक कूट के डाला कि नहीं डाला?
हाँ, अदरक, इलायची जरूरी है.
बहुत जरूरी है.
बिल्कुल.
सही है. So on that note,
great speaking to you, Takesh.
Awesome. Great, yeah. I really enjoyed it, and keep having lots of chai and stay well, stay healthy. That's the most important thing in today's world. And looking forward to hearing all those new podcasts. And please keep sharing, put it out there. All the new videos you're doing, anything new that you're talking about, just put it out. And hey, how are you?
That's my son.
Hi.
Hey.
So he's actually the creator of Dream on India. The idea came from him, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's super.
Cool.
Chalo, all the best.
Chalo.
And
take care.
I'll see you soon, hopefully, but I'll see you online much before that.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Take care.
Thank you. Good luck.
Bye.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, this was fun.
Thanks.
Bye.
Yep. Same here.